Well, good morning on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for coming, Michele Bellisari, soooboca.
Yeah, hey. Woo! Oh, I got my coffee!
Oh, you gotta put the coffee down.
That was our attempt at doing. I told him I couldn't
fist bump
do one.
and an Insta snap.
An Insta story.
So,
there you go.
As you know, most people do follow you in soooboca,
so.
and it's really a phenomenal branding that you've done, and we appreciate you for coming on Breakfast with the Broker.
I'm so excited to be on Breakfast with the Broker.
So let's get in there. Let's talk about what Instagram is and how you can leverage it as a real estate agent.
Well, I think there's a few things, and I would like to premise this by social media should never be about age. So I know they like to break down these platforms, like I started on Snapchat because I have millennials, right? So I started on Snapchat and segued over to Instagram, and I think Instagram is a fantastic platform for real estate agents and small businesses because of the visual aspect of it. You can showcase products, you can showcase listings, behind the scenes, something about your town to enhance having people, one, want to follow you, because the goal is to have people follow you, but also have good content that makes sense to the consumer. So you don't want to just post stuff that you like. You want to post stuff that may be of interest to a buyer, to a seller, to someone in town. And you can't be selling all the time, guys. It's not about sales, but it's such a beautiful platform to be able to showcase your personality. And a lot of people don't realize this. First of all, 800 million people are using this like on a monthly basis, right? But Instagram's owned by Snapchat. It's owned by Facebook.
I'm going to stop you for a second, just because it's it is September 11th.
Yes.
And it is it's 9:03 when the second plane hit the tower, and a lot of times when we look at things, things are put in perspective by huge tragedies, and it's a remember when. I remember when my parents would say, remember, where were you when JFK,
right?
Or where were you when Martin Luther King,
right?
And this is our generation of where were you. And I just like to take 10 seconds to really be intentional and think about.
And thoughtful about today.
Yeah, exactly.
And think about the flight crews as well. My daughter's a flight attendant.
Yeah,
she is flying later today. And I think it's important that we just think about, that history and how long ago it was, and it's still fresh.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
So. All right, 10 seconds. Thanks, guys. You know how hard it was for Michele and I not to talk during 10 seconds. That's pretty amazing. Oh, you're still not talking.
This is true. Oh, by the way, here's a good social media tip, because it's not just about Instagram. Please don't use days like this for marketing. Don't throw your logo on stuff today. It's just not cool.
No, and really, there's a different language, and that really is a great segue into, how Instagram, Facebook, all these social media, Snapchat and stuff, and you told me to stop. We're
not talking about Snapchat.
No, I know, but because I know nothing about Snapchat. Except,
and you don't need to now.
Right. Yeah, great, thanks. But one of the things, it's got a different language, and it's funny, the subtle things that you do, like what you just talked about, putting, on a tragedy, a day like this, putting your logo on it, could have an awful effect on your following and going through.
It's distasteful, besides the fact, and then it's just not, it's not what you should be doing.
Sure, but most cases, you're not even thinking about it. As a real estate agent, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to put out there, never forget and all
Right.
of that, and put my, logo on it, my real estate logo
Yeah.
on it. And you don't ever think about it because we're always taught, listen, we sell, we're promoters,
Yeah.
we're this and that.
Marketers.
But we really are not sellers because we really want to be promoters of other people, right? Promoters of the consumer, of
Yeah.
the buyers, of the sellers, of, we have to think about our audience and always
Well, that
consider our
goes
audience.
with what I started to say, which is you have to put content out there that the consumer is going to like, not what you want to put on there. Like even last year, and our thoughts go out to our friends in the Carolinas, because let me tell you something, we totally get this hurricane issue. And it's not fun, and we get that. But, every once in a while when these things happen, I see certain real estate marketers using it to sell product. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you don't even know what we're dealing with here. So you have to be very, conscientious of how you're going to be promoting yourself. Hey, Sue Pinky Benson, on, social media, and how you want to be, how you want your brand to be presented on there, which does mean you have to curate and think about it. It's not like slap it up, which tends to happen on Instagram when people first start out. And then you start understanding that, there's a way to make it a theme and to add certain content and colors and things that are going to drive people to like you and engage with you. And the followers are great. And I have two thoughts on that because I have two Instagram accounts. So I have the hashtag soooboca Instagram account, which is our lifestyle brand at soooboca.com. And so what I do over there is a little different. And yes, do I want followers? Of course, I want engaging people, but I'm also have some goals because there's certain numbers I'd like to hit, but I don't want fake followers either, because that isn't going to drive business to me. Which leads me into another segue, which is if you're doing this just to get business, you're not going to get business. You need to think about why you're on any of the social media channels. I think that's so important with any of them. And as I started to say before, with Facebook owning Instagram, you've got a nice double segue. It's kind of like YouTube and Google. You can double dip so you get the good SEO. Same thing happens with Facebook business page, which realtors, you need to have a Facebook business page. It's super important. And you have to have a Facebook business page too.
Sure. And so for all the viewers that are watching out there, and most of them are in the real estate industry, and give us 3 tips to get started with Instagram as a realtor. You're sitting down and I mean, most of it, we all know what Instagram is, but we really don't know how to utilize it the best way.
Well, I think a couple of things I want to start with, going back to Facebook owning Instagram, is get your Facebook business page done properly first.
What does done properly mean?
Have a good bio, have proper links, have good content. You can automate your content on most of these platforms now. So when I do talk to realtors and they go, I don't have time, I'm like, but you do. You need to be marketing your business. This is part of your marketing, whether it's sitting in front of Netflix and automating some of your posts and or watching football, same thing, and getting things set up so that your message is very clear. Maybe set up a content calendar, that has everything broken down into 30 days, and you do it the same every month, but you pick a different topic of interest. It doesn't need to be all about real estate. You can pull things about your town. And videos, by the way, so anybody who's doing videos, huge to do that. You get more traction with doing a little video on Facebook, and then you can save that video and you can repurpose stuff. And this is how I feel about it. There was a lot out there for a while that says, don't repurpose anything. Look, we are selling property. We have to make time to sell and work with buyers. So yes, you can repurpose, but maybe don't repurpose it all on the same day.
Sure.
Like you can structure it out.
And I think the great idea that I think you just gave was to have a content calendar.
Yes.
We have systems for everything for real estate. So
yes.
When you look at my system, I do seller Mondays.
Right.
So Mondays I update my sellers or whatever.
Right.
But if you did a content calendar and you did sellers on Monday, buyers on Tuesday, thing on the town on Wednesday.
Highlight something around town. Get comfortable with your iPhones or Android or whatever you're using. At the end of the day, practice with your kids. You can practice with me. I love the fact that my gal Sue Pinky Benson, who's fantastic with video, you can do a Facebook Live. It's getting very pink and big.
Yes,
you can do a
pinkish.
Facebook Live with one person. So if you wanted to do a walkthrough of a home, you could do that. But the bottom line is you can practice, which is why Snapchat actually was awesome, because I got on there and I was like basically barfing all over Snapchat, but I ended up meeting amazing people on Snapchat, so much so that I went to a mastermind in Park City last year with 25 fantastic people like Jason Frazier and Dustin Brome and Chelsea Pites and Sue. And this is where we kind of started really formulating how can we really use these platforms properly and make it so that people really enjoy the content. We don't need to be talking about real estate all the time. Do you need to highlight that you're a realtor? Yeah, a lot of times you do for disclosure purposes. But you don't need to start every video off that way either.
No, and as a realtor, getting into social media, and most people take to Facebook because it's most
easy.
of the clients are there, and
Yeah.
most of it's a lot easier. But if you look at what the reach is and the engagement,
reach.
Instagram seems to really
Yeah.
help and propel your business. And if you went with the content calendar,
Yes.
if you first of all consider your audience, because
Consider your audience and consistency.
yeah,
Show
yeah.
up every day and do something, whether you have makeup on, ladies, or not. Thank goodness for filters. That's fun. I wear baseball hats a lot in mine. Look, if you're not gonna hire me because I'm wearing a baseball hat, then maybe we're not a good fit anyways. But if I think it's of interest to my audience on Instagram in particular, there's so much that I do on Instagram that you don't see on Facebook. It's just that kind of platform. And so for the real estate one, if you go on the Michele B, which is my Instagram channel, I have Linktree, which is a great tool for your bio. So if you want to add more than one link, it takes people to those links. That's awesome. I've been using that for a year. I schedule a lot of my posts on Planoly. So that's another platform that I use. Again, saves me time. I can grid it out and see how it looks. Now, I do a lot on the fly too, because I may be somewhere where I'm like, oh, this would be really good. Take a picture or take a little video, and then I just download it and I save it. Like, I bank so much. I think most people think I walk around all day long like this with my phone. But the reason is I bank it, and then what I've done is I start folders on my iPhone in the photo section. So if I need a food picture, or I need a picture of FAU, or I need a picture of the beach, or whatever, I have this stuff ready to go, and then I can use captions, and it's fantastic, which I love.
It's funny because really, as real estate professionals, we become almost like media marketers.
We
News
are.
media's. Usually, a lot of times, clients will come directly to you and say, "Hey, vendors or recommendations, or what's going on military and Spanish River or what have you." And and we become a resource, and through your committees in downtown, and you start to get that information. So let's segue a little bit in kind of the last part that I wanted to get across. The next 3 to 5 years is, I always ask my guests, what's the outlook? So I guess my specific question to you is, what do you think Instagram is going to do, more transform or what have you? Is there going to be some more social media channels that we're going to go, we hear about a lot about Pinterest. That's
well, let me tell you about Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest, and I've been focused on that a lot. I went from about 800 views a month to 12,000 views a month. The SEO on that is crazy good, and it's not a social media channel. It's an SEO search engine, and that's what people also don't realize. So if you have a good blog post or you have a listing, set up some Pinterest boards and start getting on there and join. They have these tribes now that you can join, and you can share this content, and it's fantastic. I mean, literally in under 2 months, I jumped to 12,000 views. So my goal is to get higher, and then it drives back to soooboca.com in most cases. But then I have my real estate site called The Bees. So I have both of them. I think that's fantastic. Social media, I think it's always going to be moving and changing, and we are media companies that happen to sell real estate. And I can thank Neil Mathweg for that tidbit. The Onion Juicy is fantastic. And I like it. And here's the thing. I'm 56. I throw my age out there. When I see people say, I don't get this, or I can't understand it, and it's about the age thing, I'm like, no. You need to sit down with someone who can show you a few things, not like a fire hose. I think that's the problem that we see, is that you have social media stuff happening and then it's too much information. Start with Facebook, then you get to Instagram, but know your why with Instagram. It's the magic is really in the direct messages, and you can connect with people. And Gary Vee says that all the time. You don't want to spam, but I got a client from Instagram. This is like really cool. But on soooboca, that's a little more on an influencer side of things that I do with my daughters, Kylie and Allie. So we are doing some collaborations with companies outside of real estate, but it ties all back in together.
Right.
So you just have to kind of blend it together. I'm going to be doing a social media event here in Boca October 17th at Clive Daniels, and it's going to be free.
Awesome.
For realtors.
Awesome.
And if you're a small business person, you can come do it. I'll be putting that info out.
Good stuff. So,
Yeah.
as far as implementation, I think the mistake that most of us do is we go ahead and try and do everything, and we end up doing nothing. So what I would implore, and you've helped us tremendously over the years.
Oh, thank you. Isn't that how you saw me? It was on Facebook.
Yeah. So a crazy story is I was on Facebook. How many years ago? 6,
oh, well, it must
7?
have been, because it was 2011, 12. 2012 I came here.
About 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I started stalking Michelle. And what happened was I was looking for a recruiter.
Yeah.
I was looking for someone to help me build the company and such like that. So I was looking for people that had some kind of social media influence. And 6 years ago, I'm like, Michelle's like killing it on social media and Facebook and what have you. And obviously, Instagram wasn't even there yet.
Midlife mama.
Yeah, so I reached out to her and offered her to come on board.
Yeah.
So and then the rest is history.
Such a great move, by the way.
Yes, it was for both of us.
It's been a real win-win.
But one of the things is people trying to implement too many things at once.
Baby steps.
Just implement 10, 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
5 days a week.
Yeah.
And don't overdo it. Learn about Instagram.
And honestly, it will come to you. Like, if I had told you that a year and a half ago I would have started a blog called soooboca, I would have... Flash forward, it has morphed into a whole thing, but baby steps. Maybe I work on that. I work on my real estate. I love niches in real estate, as you know. That's another whole topic, and I really like that. The two new things that have popped up that you can't get distracted. Get your Facebook, get your Instagram down if Instagram's your jam. Podcasting and flash briefings on Amazon. Master the basics, like that's your pyramid, right? That's the base, and then start adding these. So like I do like podcasting because I worked in radio at GC 101 Modern Country Music in Gainesville, and now it's kind of come full circle, and people are listening and not always watching. Like, we will turn on YouTube, but we may listen to it, we may not. So don't get distracted with, I need to do those things. Get a couple of these things done, and then you can take that content and repurpose it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Absolutely.
You can take one good video, do a 5-minute video on something you love, and turn it into a blog post. Break it down into Instagram post. Turn it into a Facebook post. Make it a podcast. I mean, there's so much you can do with it. It's like crazy.
Sure.
So basically, Instagram to me is micro blog posts.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
That's it.
So Thank you very much, Michelle. I
Thanks,
very much
Dave.
appreciate it.
I'm having a good time. This is great.
And there's a couple of happy birthdays I have to throw out there. Carla Galixa and Kristen Stampini.
Oh, Kristen, happy birthday, my love.
And, very much appreciate it. Listen, Breakfast with the Broker, Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Next week, we have Joanne Mazzio, who is the broker manager for Kai's company. And she's awesome. She's going to come talk to us a little bit about... I am a stalker.
I can't believe I can actually see that from this far away.
So we're looking forward to her next week as well. And thank you very much. And for those...
And also, too, we have a little announcement in October, so...
Yes. Yeah, October 17th.
No, not that.
Oh,
the other
else?
thing we talked about.
Oh, yeah. We got something else.
So you guys stay tuned for that.
Yes, we do.
See, that's your call to action.
On October 18th.
Oh. A big one. Rebecca Steinhaus, Director of Marketing, has put on these events every couple months, and they're getting better and better. And this one I'm very excited about because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and she's putting on a charity function for a luncheon October 18th. It's going to be held at Royal Palm Polo's Clubhouse. That is not the Polo Club. That is not Royal Palm Yacht Club, but it's Royal Palm Polo.
If you're old Boca, you'll know that they actually
it's the
did
polo
have
grounds.
polo out
Yes,
there.
it's the Palm Beach Polo.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we love to see you guys all out there. Amazing speakers. It's going to be ladies in the industry luncheon, and we're looking forward to that.
I will tell you, if you didn't make it to the listing event, the format was fantastic. So it wasn't just a panel. We could actually walk around and talk to some top listing agents in our area. And I thought that Rebecca and Dave, fantastic. It was really good.
And this one will be a panel, but it's going to be it's going to be a really good panel between Rebecca and I. We're going to moderate the panel, and we're looking forward to it.
Questions.
And in all honesty, all of this, the events, the Breakfast with the Broker, it's all about professionalism, collaboration with the industry.
Over competition,
that is our only objective.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why we do this. We just feel like we want to bring everyone together and let's run off in the sunset or something like that.
Oh, really? We're running off into the sunset?
I don't know. Maybe. That sounds like a Snapchat filter. All right, guys. See you guys later. Happy birthday, Carla Galixa and Kristen Stampini. And thank you for tuning in. All right. See you next Tuesday at 9 a.m. with Breakfast with the Broker.
Bye.